will be several places around the city celebrating Veterans Day, including the Lone Star Flight Museum. That's where we find Joe Sam learning about how we can honor them this Wednesday. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Courtney, how are you? So, yeah, we're here and we're talking all about this amazing exhibit, Fight to the Finish. And right now we're talking to one of the vets as well, COO of the Lone Star Flight Museum, Chris Richardson. How are you?
I'm really well. Thanks for asking. How are you today?
We're feeling good, and we're excited about this here because people can come and learn so much about veterans and what they've done here from not just now, but back in the past as well. So talk a little bit about what we're seeing in here.
Absolutely. Well, right in here, we've got a timeline for World War II. The Fight to the Finish exhibit is all about the last year, 75 years ago, when we won the war against tyranny and fascism, and a total war effort across the country at home and abroad. Right here is an example of a 500-pound bomb that were used in the B-17s and some of the other aircraft that are in our hangar. And if we walk around here to the left, we'll look at examples of not only the other aircraft and pictures that were flown on the walls, but we have here a jacket that was worn by a gentleman that was actually a bombardier on a B-17, and through all the missions that he flew, he had to remove the cotter pins from the bombs to arm those fuses, just like that bomb we were looking at, that replica. And he wrote down the date, the target, and the bomb load for all of those missions all the way through the war, and came home successfully and has kept them all those years and donated them here to the museum. So that's just one of the many artifacts you can see here in our Fight to the Finish gallery celebrating the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II.
Yeah, and that's what I really wanted to mention because you guys are doing this as a celebration. So as they're looking at all of the things that they see here in the museum, they learn a little bit about each one of the stories on the wall too. So we want to walk around too and showcase another thing that's really cool that was made here in Houston, and it really showcases the whole era and exactly what was going on back then. So take a look at this creative invention here. Talk about what this is, because when I first saw it, I got a little nervous and a little scared. Tell us what this is.
This is the tail turret, or the rear turret off of a B-24-like aircraft flown for the Navy. It's called a PB-4Y. It was made by the Southland Aircraft Corporation here in Texas. So two 50-millimeter gun, 50 caliber machine guns mounted on the back end of the airplane to protect the airplane from attack. Really beautifully restored. And just an example of the great ingenuity. And this is all handmade. You know? This is Rosie the Riveter. These are people back on the home front putting this stuff together to support our veterans overseas throughout the course of the war. So really, really cool. And this exhibit will be open throughout the end of the year.
Throughout the end of the year. That was the thing that I really wanted to mention to everyone out there. And the website that people can go to, they can find that information on our website as well. We're going to have all that information to how you can come and learn more about Fight to the Finish exhibit that's happening, like Chris said, throughout the entire year. We're going to have all that information for you. But when we come back, we're going to be learning a little bit more about the vets that have served and the history that we can find here at the Lone Star Flight Museum. For right now, Courtney, we're going to send things back to you. Really cool stuff that we can see and hear, and some amazing stories about veterans.
Absolutely. Joe, we're looking forward to your next hit. Thanks so much.
Day is coming up this Wednesday, November 11th, and we're finding places around Houston that you can celebrate and pay honor and respect, which is why we're at the Lone Star Flight Museum to check out their incredible exhibits and their amazing aircrafts. Joining me now is COO Chris Richardson to tell us a little bit more about these amazing planes that we see behind us. Really, one that I wanted to spotlight is the one here for George H.W. Bush. We already know that we're going to be celebrating and just showcasing that honor and that respect to all those vets, but it's been 2 years since he's passed away, and you have an incredible story about this aircraft behind us. Tell us a little bit about it.
That's right. Well, all the aircraft in the museum celebrate veterans and how they were made and flown and maintained and cared for. This one in particular is a TBM Avenger, which was the airplane very much like the one that George H.W. Bush was flying as a very young 19-year-old Navy Lieutenant J.G. in the Pacific when he was shot down. You can see that legend has it that he wrote Barber 3 on the side, meaning that he'd already wrecked 2 other airplanes. But he was working on the 3rd one.
Exactly.
So he was rescued. Unfortunately, his radio man and rear gunner were not. And he got back to safety and, became who he was to become. The youngest pilot in the Navy at the time. Next to it is another World War II Navy aircraft, an SBD. Behind it's a B-25 and a Doolittle replica scheme. And then, of course, the iconic B-17. So all about celebrating veterans. This place, this story, these airplanes tell their story. And it's a story of great respect and honor and privilege to be part of that. We love our veterans, and we give them discounts every day of the year. So.
Exactly. We love those discounts, and we love you, too, because you've actually served as well. So thank you for your service. And when you talk about people coming here and realizing all of these stories that are connected to the different exhibits that you see here, what does that do for those veterans out there?
Well, it helps them feel both a sense of pride and connection to the community. Watching one of our older veterans, we have a World War II vet here all the time. His name's Bob Wayner. He's a great guy. And he'll take a seat and he'll just sit there and watch, and people will come by. And it's amazing how people are drawn to him and his stories. All he wants to do and all we want to do is remind folks of the sacrifices that the veterans made that weren't able to come home. The ones that were out there making those sacrifices so that we don't ever forget them. That's Memorial Day, specifically for holidays. Veterans Day is all about the people who have served that are still with us and celebrating that day with and for them.
Absolutely. Really quickly, tell us how those veterans can come and take part in those discounts that you offer.
Every day of the year. So it's a $3 discount for our veterans. If you show up at the desk and say I'm a veteran, you'll be offered the discount. So you don't have to prove it to us. We're going to believe you. And they enjoy that every single day.
Absolutely. Chris, thanks so much for showing us all of this here. And there's so much more left here to come and see and do when you come out to Lone Star Flight Museum. We just gave you a little preview and a little sneak peek. You have to come here yourself to check out the amazing stories connected to veterans and all that they've done here for this country. Courtney, what an incredible place, right?
Absolutely. I'm glad you were there today, Joe. Thanks.